Thanks very much for joining us today. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Mark Simpson. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9:30. Enjoy the rest of your day. But right now, it's coming up to 12 o'clock, and we say good afternoon, Jeremy.
Thank you. What a show, Gary. And welcome to the Jeremy Vine Show, BBC Radio 2. You too. Well. Okay, today on this programme, was yesterday a budget for the rich or the foundation stone for a Conservative victory at the next election? Tell us if you're better or worse off. Plymouth residents woke to find the council had removed 100 trees in the night. We're going to try and find out why. Is that near you? Radio 2 relationships expert Barbara Want is here after 1 to discuss rows over the housework in your home. And a woman made £500,000 by getting refunds on goods she'd actually stolen. Are you a shopkeeper who became suspicious about a refund? You thought, oi.
Listen live on the BBC Sounds app. BBC Radio 2.
All that to come. Let's go to the newsroom first, though, and hear the very latest from Anthony Birchley.
Jeremy, thank you. The Chinese-owned social media app TikTok is set to be banned on phones used by government ministers and civil servants. The Cabinet Office Minister, Oliver Dowden, is due to make an announcement in the Commons shortly. The National Cybersecurity Centre has been asked to review the issue. TikTok has strongly denied allegations that it hands users' data to the Chinese government. Labour says it plans to force a vote in Parliament next week on the abolition of the lifetime pensions allowance announced in yesterday's budget. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, said the cap on how much people could put into a pension pot before paying extra tax would be scrapped. It's designed to stop senior doctors retiring early. But Labour says it's the wrong priority for the wrong people. The Tory MP, Sir Gary Streeter, disagrees.
I think most people out there listening to this now, if they know that their top, most skilled consultant surgeons at Derriford Hospital and Exeter are now incentivised to give us another 2 or 3 years of their skill when they're at their very best. It's the people who are making our children better, looking after our mums and dads. And if we can incentivise them to stay on, I say, well done, Jeremy Hunt. It may not be popular, but it's the right thing to do.
A fresh pay offer aimed at ending the long-running dispute between the government and NHS workers is expected to be announced today. It's understood they could be offered a one-off payment for the current financial year, plus a pay rise greater than the previously proposed 3.5% for the following year. Industrial action in several sectors continues today. Teachers with the National Education Union in England are walking out in an ongoing dispute about pay and funding. Rail workers belonging to the RMT union at 18 train companies are also on strike. The banking giant Credit Suisse is borrowing up to £45 billion from Switzerland's central bank to shore up its finances. The collapse of its share price yesterday worried European markets. The former Deputy Director of the Bank of England, Sir John Geeves, says Switzerland wanted to avoid a repeat of what happened to Lehman Brothers Bank in 2008.
Credit Suisse is like Lehman Brothers in sort of scale and complexity and importance. But there's a big difference. The Americans didn't save it. And that was what spooked the markets as a whole, because they didn't stand behind it. So what we've seen is the Swiss central bank saying, no, we will not let this get into a disorderly collapse.
The American Space Agency NASA has unveiled a prototype for a new space suit that its astronauts will wear on future missions to the moon under the Artemis program. The new designs are said to offer better flexibility and thermal protection than before. NASA's Robert Cabana said the new suits were a vital part of the mission.
We are going to learn how to operate on the moon for extended periods of time and learn how to operate away from planet Earth and utilize the resources on the moon. And all of this is in preparation for eventually going on to Mars. And we got to have an EVA mobility suit in order to make that happen.
That's the latest. BBC News at 4 minutes past 12.
Wow, thinking big. Thank you. The next 2 hours in 4 words. Plymouth, budget, refunds, housework.
Listen live on the BBC Sounds app.
BBC Radio 2.
And we've got Labour and the Conservatives in just a tick on whether